Welcome back, guys. I'm on location today at Dominick Lofino Park. It's a pretty local pond to where I live. It's got a lot of dog walkers, runners. It's a fairly spacious pond here, but today it's kind of been spotty showers, so fortunately I think there'll be less and less people than there normally be, which kind of works out in my favor, I guess, so I can really kind of concentrate and focus on making some photos today. But yeah, like I said, it's been really spotty showers today, kind of on and off. Got these big old clouds, like very moody looking skies, dark, deep grays and whites. All right, so I'm just gonna hang out here for a couple hours here till sunset or when it gets dark, when the park closes at least. And I'm just gonna be just photographing mainly some wildlife, birds. So what usually you get here at Dominick Lofino Park at this giant pond that it has is you get a lot of just pretty common waterfowl. You get Canada geese, you get mallard ducks, you get a lot of like the domestic hybrids of the kind of different ducks and geese as well, a lot of those. You get great blue herons, kind of the surrounding tree and foliage just all around, because the pond's surrounded by woods. You'll get a lot of red-winged blackbirds. I'm hoping to maybe see some smaller, maybe there'll be some different kind of thrushes, who knows at least, but we can only hope. So like I said, it's fairly busy most times of the year. A lot of people like to walk around the pond or, like I said, run. The entire pond is actually surrounded by a concrete walking path that it's like I said, pretty popular with walkers, but there are a lot of densely wooded areas and giant deep canopies that kind of surround it, so we might check that out as well as we make our way around the pond. So it's a very short trip, nothing too strenuous. It's very easy to walk on the trails or off the trails in the grass surrounding the pond and all that. So, like I said, today's mainly going to be wildlife. So I brought my Tamron 150-600, got packed in my little shoulder messenger bag. I'm traveling really nice and easy. I'm not wearing any fancy camouflage to freak anyone out, at least, that I might see. Just because it's more of like a public, developed kind of community park. It's not really like a nature preserve or anything like that, where I'd be more comfortable wearing, camouflage and looking all goofy and stuff like that. I think my favorite part about Dominick Lofino is just it's a great place to practice bird photography, specifically waterfowl in flight, or any kind of birds in flight, just because they're always coming and going at this pond and leaving the other places, arriving. And I've gotten some of my favorite mallard and Canada geese photos here, especially mallard photos, which I'll show you a few here just to kind of give you some examples from my portfolio. But yeah, it's definitely an amazing place to practice birds in flight, at least in my local town. So that's the main reason I'm going to be here, or even just some static, bird portraits of them just feeding or anything like that. Not only that, but it's also spring, so I'm hoping to see maybe some mallard ducklings or even Canada geese goslings, because I remember in May of 2018, I'll show you some photos here of some mallard ducklings. There's a big old clutch of them that lived here at the pond, so I'm hoping to see something cool like that again. Because anytime you can get babies or young wildlife, it's just, they're so cute. So yeah, I'm really excited for that. If you see some herons, that'd be awesome as well. Maybe get some pictures of them in flight, because I don't believe I have any right now. I know, shocker, right? But I'm still building up my portfolio, of course. So yeah, this is just gonna be a short little practice trip. I definitely want to document, of course, just to show off the features here, because I still think it's a great park and pond as well. Despite people being here, I've walked around with my big Tamron lens, and I've been totally, I felt fairly comfortable. Actually people strike up conversations, or, they really exclaim how big your lens is, and they think it's like, must be costing a fortune. Which, I guess in a way it kind of did, but there's certainly lenses that cost a lot more than my 150-600 here. See, I really don't mind people so much when I get used to it, especially at parks like this. This is probably one of the busiest examples I could think of off the top of my head that's in my town. But yeah, we're just gonna make do with what we have. Maybe dodge the rain if we can here and there, if it gets too bad or thick. Luckily there's some roof shelters that kind of are dotted around the different areas of the pond here, so if it gets real bad, I'll definitely retreat to those. But other than that, I got my rain jacket. And while this isn't a gear review, I definitely don't want to make it seem like a gear review or a gear test. I'm actually it's more like a little challenge, honestly, for me. Is I'm going to try not using my Tamron lens as much. I'm actually using this Tamron 1.4 times teleconverter. I bought it used on Adorama in 2018, and I really haven't used it at all, because I bought it mainly for my Tamron 150-600, thinking that, it's the same brand, so I thought it'd work together. It didn't. So I really only use it exclusively for my 75-300 here, just to make, maximize the focal length. The only problem with that is it teleconverters generally overall, no matter which one you get or what lens combination you use it for. So like I said, this is going to be more like a personal challenge for me. I'm not going to be like really reviewing this teleconverter specifically, but I'm definitely going to be using it just because it's a lower profile. You can travel a lot more lighter, but I will have my Tamron lens in my bag here. So just in case, if it really comes to opportunity where I need to have that farther reach, then I'll pull that out definitely and use that as well. And I did bring my shoulder strap, so that helps as well if I do bring out that larger lens. But we're just going to get started with this. Yep, should be a nice, fairly peaceful evening. Hopefully it goes well. Hopefully get some good shots here, because the last time I was here for a photo op, it was, I got some amazing ones of, there's a rainbow as well. I got some amazing ones of birds in flight, or mallard ducks, and it was a really amazing time, honestly, just spending the afternoon here. And it doesn't look like much at first just because of how small it is, and given the size, but you can walk around the pond, or at least, and you can find tons of ducks and geese and different kinds of waterfowl. There's a lot going on, definitely. So I'm gonna shut up here and let's finally get started, because I'm really excited. Alright, the rain, of course, when I got in my car, it started, coming down a little bit harder, but it's nothing too much to worry about. But anyways, I got some amazing shots of some Canada geese. It looks like they raised a family here of goslings, which is pretty beautiful to see. It's really amazing and cute to see these goslings here, but I kind of moved away because it looked like they were kind of swimming back in the pond here. But I did get some amazing shots of the mother, one of the parents with the goslings kind of surrounding them, just to kind of show a sense of place and show the family kind of together. Because when you can really show that kind of interaction between the parents and the babies, I think that makes a much more powerful wildlife image. So I got some shots of that. I got some shots of them kind of running in a line, just like as a group. It's pretty cool. So far, I've seen some American pekins and mallards as expected. I don't see any young babies from these mallards or anything right now, but yeah, there's definitely a family of goslings here, which is pretty cool to see. And the rain's coming down a little bit harder now, but that's all right. We'll make do. It should just be a passing shower. Nothing too worried about. So far, I'm enjoying this, honestly, just to be out. Nice little peaceful evening. See, I got some pretty beautiful footage and photos as well. The relationship with the parent geese and then the goslings is just kind of feed and forage and all the the kind of marshy parts of the pond here. Luckily, the rain has stopped for now. It's getting kind of fairly heavy and a little annoying, honestly. I know I said this before, but I've been out in heavier rains than that even. That's okay. Luckily for now it stopped. This group of geese, this family already kind of started swimming away, but luckily they gave me enough time to just calmly sit down here on this park bench and photograph them and take some video, of course. So next, I'm probably gonna keep on walking around along the pond here. I'm already about a third of the way around, and depending on how much time I got, I might make some repeat laps, see if I can capture some more photos and video of the same geese or whatever. Obviously, I want to be careful. I don't want to get too close and disturb them or make them, under distress and all that. But yeah, they're quite a far ways out there. It's kind of cute because you get to see the goslings kind of follow along, swimming right behind the parents. It's cool because birds aren't stupid, of course, but you got one parent situated up front in the row and then one in the back, and just the way, it's a way of looking out for them and protecting them, which I think is pretty cool. So far, I'm liking this teleconverter and this lens combination here. Something about using Canon glass. Nothing to rag on Tamron lenses for any kind of, I guess you call them third-party lens. But I definitely find that using the top brands, you know, like Canon or Nikon or whatever you choose. Something about using, like in my case, for my example, using Canon glass. Well, I mean glass, I mean like lenses, of course. I just find them produce sharper photos, especially the 75-300 lens that I have. It stops all the way down to 5.6 at its widest aperture. So I mean, it's fairly fast. It's not a high-end, expensive lens, of course, because it has a variable aperture when you zoom in, which means if you zoom in at its farthest point for, let's say in this example, 300 millimeters, then you're going to get a much more narrow aperture. But if I'm just at the standard 75 millimeters, I'm not zoomed in at all or anything like that, it's going to be at its widest about 5.6. That's just one example. So if you ever are searching or want to shop or purchase a lens, keep that in mind. I know certain lenses, zoom lenses specifically, because prime lenses have that fixed focal length. They keep their aperture consistent, at least their widest aperture. And then overall, prime lenses seem to be a lot faster lenses. But even then, I've had this lens for quite a while now, a couple of years, ever since pretty much the early days of my shooting. And it's a really cheap lens. When I bought it a few years ago, about 3 years ago, I believe, it's about 200 bucks. Bought it new. And I think it's much less than that now. It's probably about 150 you can get it. And honestly, if you're starting out, just photography in general, it's an amazing lens. It really just occurred to me how awkward I get when people walk by when I'm filming like this. Is that I heard some noise and it sounded like it was a woman and her dog running by the concrete path here, and I immediately just like stopped talking and dropped down my lens. Yeah, I get very awkward. It's alright. Must be nerves, I guess. But since the rain stopped, I'm gonna move along here, see what I can find. So right behind me here is actually where I saw a great blue heron that I was trying to track down, and this was right after sunset. I got this gorgeous silhouetted photo, as you can see here, of just this beautiful. It was really spectacular in my opinion. You may think it's pretty simple, I guess, composition-wise and subject, but I thought like the way it showed the great blue heron in such a different light, you know, all puns intended. It was just a very beautiful, different way of showing this bird. And honestly, great blue herons are one of my favorite birds anyways, so it kind of worked out. But it's probably one of my favorite great blue heron shots that I've taken thus far. So yeah, this pond, it looks like nothing special at first glance, especially just all the busy human presence here most of the time. But I've gotten some of my favorite bird photos here, honestly. So I found this small little footpath. Kind of diverges off the pond, and it's got these beautifully dense woods. These really just, at least right now in kind of late spring, these really lush and green, just like wooded areas. Spectacular to see. The only problem is there's a bunch of invasive species like Japanese honeysuckle and garlic mustard, but it's absolutely beautiful. I feel like I might get lost, honestly, and it's just pretty cool because I thought the pond was the only really feature of the park, but I guess I was really wrong. So I'm gonna keep seeing where this goes. And there's some like different kind of seating areas I've been passing by, and some webs that get in your face when you walk along the trail. I think this might be residential area up here. Yep. Okay. Well, I'm gonna turn around here. It's just so beautiful. Like I said, I'm always trying to be more thankful, you know, just to get out in general, photos or video or not. Just the simple act of actually getting out there. You know, that's what I'm about, and it's what I encourage everyone else to do as well. Well, okay. I'm gonna turn back now, but this is a nice little diversion from the rest of the pond. But I think I'm gonna return, and I might, once I complete my first lap around the pond, which I'm pretty close to doing, I'm gonna switch out my lenses and use the Tamron and see pretty much how that works. Not so much how it works, but you know what images I can get. Sorry, I got like web stuff in my nose now. This is beautiful though, honestly. Loving it. The trails are not really well laid out because I guess not too many people go up here, but like I said, it's really lush and green and quite frankly beautiful. I keep hearing robins singing. Yeah, just sort of chickadee. Very, very nice. I like this. Adds some kind of biodiversity to the rest of the park, which is really nice. Very nice. I like this. Alright, switch out my lens for the Tamron 150-600, and I've been watching these Canada geese. I'm fairly close to them. I'm keeping a safe distance, of course. I've been kind of sitting right by this tree, shooting handheld, just kind of propping it up on my knee here. I think it's about 25 minutes left of daylight. The rain keeps coming and going as usual. It's a little breezy and windy, a little cooler than usual for spring. I think got some amazing shots. I've had to work with really, really high ISO numbers. I mean, the digital noise doesn't look too bad, but I can edit it out in post-processing a little bit using the denoising tool and maybe some softening, widely adjusted. But I've been using really wide apertures as well, just like f5.6. So they've slowly been making their way kind of across the pond here. Honestly, I think Canada geese get a really bad rap just because they're not invasive, but they do kind of present a little bit of a nuisance to some people, and they can be overcrowded and overpopulated, just like white-tailed deer are. But you know, I think they're very beautiful creatures. You know, we're all kind of one and the same, in my opinion, on this planet. And just, you know, seeing them with their babies, just carrying on everyday life like this, and allowing me to just be near them and get the photograph. And I think that's what counts. Oh, I can see them swimming away. That'll never go old to me. Alright guys, it's pretty much going to conclude it. It's going to get real dark here real soon, but my batteries are also going to die. I'm going to cut this a little short here, but I definitely got some amazing images of some Canada geese goslings, and I'm really happy to show you them here. So once again, thank you so much for watching. It's been Dominick Lofino Park here, and make sure to get on out here. So thanks guys.